If your ankles have ever felt unsteady or weak, even if just for a moment, you may be facing a hidden challenge that could affect your ability to stay active and independent. Many of us think of balance issues as an inevitable sign of getting older, but the truth is often more subtle and far more preventable. The ankles in particular play a significant yet often overlooked role in keeping us steady on our feet. When they're not as strong as they need to be, other muscles overcompensate, and that compensation can mask the real problem until a near fall or sudden trip makes it painfully clear. It might be surprising to learn how ankle weakness can gradually affect your confidence in moving around, your willingness to socialize, and even your overall sense of well-being. After all, something as simple as walking to the mailbox or attending a grandchild's birthday party should be a pleasure, not a potential hazard. Here's why this matters so much. Falls are one of the most common causes of injury among seniors, often leading to extended recovery times, hospital stays, or even a complete change in living situation. But imagine if you could significantly reduce your risk of those frightening falls by focusing on your ankles, the literal foundation of every step you take. Improving ankle stability won't just help you stand more securely, it can also help you walk with greater confidence and keep you active in the hobbies and routines that bring you joy. Picture yourself striding across a garden path without fear, or meeting friends for a walk without worrying about uneven ground. Those day-to-day victories are possible when you address ankle weakness head-on. You don't have to be an athlete or undergo a strict exercise regime to see real improvements either. Simple, gentle movements, like ankle rolls and controlled lifts, can make a tangible difference over time. The challenge is recognizing that this potential problem exists at all. Because the body is incredibly good at adapting, you may have spent years shifting your weight or walking differently to compensate for less stable ankles. That means you might not notice a big change until the day you lose your balance in a way that's scary or worse, injurious. By understanding how ankle weakness can creep into our lives, you can take steps, literally, to prevent it from interfering with your best years. In the next part of our conversation, you'll explore why it's so easy to miss signs of ankle instability, discover common myths that stop seniors from addressing it, and learn practical activities you can do at home to strengthen and protect this critical joint. Along the way, you'll hear real stories of seniors who once believed balance loss was simply part of aging, but who found new strength, greater confidence, and a renewed passion for life's simple pleasures. Even if you use a walker or cane, or if you're managing other health challenges, there are plenty of ways to adapt and see improvements that preserve your independence. I'm here to share insights I've gathered from working with older adults and discussing these issues with specialists in physical therapy and senior fitness. While I'm not a medical doctor, these experiences have shown me that small, manageable steps often yield the most profound long-term benefits. My hope is that, by the end, you'll feel both empowered and informed, like a detective who's uncovered a crucial clue in maintaining mobility, vitality, and joy. If you've ever worried about feeling unsteady on your feet, take a moment to reflect. Do your ankles ever feel stiff or wobbly when you first stand up? Share your thoughts with someone close to you or write them down. Often, acknowledging that feeling is the first step toward addressing it. Let's start unraveling this mystery together and ensure your ankles support you for many fulfilling years ahead. Have you ever found yourself brushing off a slight wobble as just a senior moment? It's a common assumption that sways us into inaction, so let's investigate more deeply, like health detectives. A seemingly minor weakness today might foreshadow bigger issues tomorrow, but identifying the truth can spell the difference between constant worry and confident movement. You might think you'd immediately notice if your ankles were truly weak. After all, wouldn't your body alert you with constant pain or multiple stumbles? Surprisingly, that's not always the case. The human body is exceptionally adept at creating workarounds when one area lags behind, like the ankles. Other parts pick up the slack, often without you realizing it. Maybe you shift your weight to your stronger side, walk more slowly, or rely too heavily on handrails. Let's look at how these hidden compensations evolve over time by considering the story of Gloria, age 72. Gloria enjoyed her daily neighborhood strolls, yet she didn't notice when she gradually started pivoting her hips outward and turning her right foot to the side to avoid ankle strain. After months of this subtle shift, her right hip began to ache. leading her to believe she had a hip problem. In truth, the root cause was her instability around the ankle. A physical therapist spotted the issue and guided her through gentle ankle exercises. Within weeks, Gloria's pain began to fade, and she found herself walking more naturally again. This example reminds us that the body's natural adaptability can mask ankle weakness, making it difficult to detect until something else starts to hurt. The takeaway? If you frequently experience mild aches in your hips, knees, or lower back without a clear reason, it could be time to examine how your ankles are performing. A major misconception people often have is believing that mobility issues must originate in the knee or hip. Because we hear so much about knee replacements and hip surgeries, it's easy to overlook the smaller joints that provide critical support. But consider the supporting cast in a stage performance. Just because the lead actors get most of the attention doesn't mean the background roles aren't essential to the show's success. In that same way, your ankles are always working in the background, keeping you balanced. Neglecting them can cause a chain reaction that affects your entire lower body alignment. Experts in senior fitness and rehabilitation emphasize that detecting early signs of ankle weakness can be as simple as observing your posture when you stand up from a chair. Are your feet positioned evenly? Do you often grab onto a counter or table for stability? Such small cues, repeated day after day, often point to a deeper issue worth addressing. If you notice these things, you don't have to panic. Instead, try a practical step. Whenever you stand, make a conscious effort to distribute your weight evenly on both feet. Then roll your ankles gently in small circles before you walk. By developing awareness and practicing subtle exercises like ankle circles, you can begin to reverse some of the imbalances that have crept in unnoticed. Beyond the physical benefits of attending to your ankles, there's a critical emotional element at play. When you have even slight doubts about your steadiness, you might start limiting your activities, perhaps avoiding outings that involve a lot of walking or skipping community events you once loved. Over time, this behavior chips away at your self-confidence. By contrast, working to strengthen your ankles can help renew your sense of independence and control. It's about embracing the mindset that your later years can be active and fulfilling, rather than bracing for the day your ankles inevitably fail you. Before we move on, think about the ways you adapt your movements day to day. Do you lean on furniture when walking in your home, or shuffle your feet on certain floors? These behaviors might be subtle signals of ankle compensation. Take a moment to mentally note or jot down one instance in the last week when you felt off balance, even if briefly. Keeping track of these moments is your first clue. By doing so, you're following the trail that may lead to a solution before a bigger stumble happens. Another common assumption is that weak ankles are just something you're born with, like a trait you can't change. Seniors who once sprained their ankles or had a sports injury decades ago might figure, "My ankles have been bad for years, there's nothing to be done." But the reality is, even if you've had past injuries, your body still has remarkable healing potential, especially when it comes to gentle exercises and consistent practice. The problem arises when we avoid challenging our ankles out of fear of re-injury. That fear can lead to inactivity, which only perpetuates weakness. Consider Rob, age 68, who twisted his ankle repeatedly in his younger days. He carried the belief that his ankles were inherently fragile. Over time, he avoided activities like hiking or even taking stairs unless absolutely necessary. When Rob noticed he was increasingly off balance doing ordinary tasks, like stepping into the bathtub, he began a simple foot flex routine recommended by a senior fitness instructor. Slowly, Rob built up more trust in his ankle's ability to bear weight. Within a few months, he was comfortable with short nature walks again. His ankles hadn't healed themselves in the miraculous sense. Rather, he had rehabilitated them progressively through intentional movement. One of the key myths to dispel here is that rest is always the answer to any pain or discomfort. While resting an acute injury is important, prolonged inactivity can lead to muscle stiffness, decreased circulation, and worsening joint instability. This is especially true for seniors because joint health often depends on consistent movement to keep tissues healthy and lubricated. If you've been hesitant to move your ankles because they felt weak, it might be time to consider safe, low-impact exercises. For instance, you could try a seated heel-to-toe rocking motion while watching TV. Simply place your feet flat on the floor, then slowly lift your heels off the ground, rolling up onto your toes and lower back down gently. This not only engages the ankle joints, but also gently works your calf muscles, which support ankle stability. Over time, you'll likely notice improved strength and less discomfort in everyday activities. The emotional side of overcoming fragile ankle thinking is significant. Each small success, like walking a bit farther without fatigue or feeling steadier on stairs, feeds into a belief that you can regain some control over your mobility. That sense of progress can spark hope, and hope is powerful. It can carry you through the challenges that might arise along the way. Instead of resigning yourself to a future of less activity, you start envisioning the possibility of going out more, experiencing nature, or even traveling. If you have doubts about your ability to strengthen your ankles due to past injuries, consider consulting a physical therapist or a senior-focused exercise class. Look for programs specifically tailored to older adults. These often emphasize balance and joint-friendly movements. Always remember that it's best to get individual guidance if you're uncertain or if you have complex health conditions. There's no shame in needing help. It's a testament to your commitment to staying active and safe in your daily life. Don't forget, small shifts in perspective can make a big difference. Simply accepting that your ankles aren't doomed and that you have avenues for improvement can change how you approach each day. Are you starting to see some new possibilities, or do you still feel skeptical? Either response is valid, and each might be a clue guiding you to the next step in this detective journey. Many seniors assume that to improve balance, they need extreme routines or equipment. In truth, ankle stability exercises can be integrated into daily life without special gear. In fact, you likely already do some form of them without knowing, such as shifting from one foot to another while waiting in line or doing light chores around the house. By being a bit more intentional about these movements, you can turn everyday tasks into opportunities to reinforce ankle strength. Picture Carmen, age 77. She spent years meticulously managing her home and yard, but after a small scare where she tripped over a garden hose, she became increasingly anxious about bending down or walking on uneven ground. Instead of avoiding those tasks completely, Carmen's neighbor, a retired fitness coach, suggested she use short, controlled foot lifts while tidying her living room, slowly raising one foot an inch or two off the floor, holding onto a chair for balance, and then switching feet. Over time, these micro movements improved her ankle stability and boosted her confidence on tricky outdoor surfaces. What seemed like an insignificant action, lifting her foot a little at a time, actually served as targeted ankle training. You might be familiar with toe raises and heel raises. These classic exercises remain popular for a reason. They work. Standing behind a chair and gently lifting your heels off the floor engages the muscles supporting the ankles and lower legs. Slowly lowering yourself back down challenges the same muscles in the opposite way. If standing is challenging for you, you can do a seated version, lifting just your toes or heels while keeping your knees bent. The key is consistency. A few repetitions daily, done carefully, often provide more benefit than a burst of intense exercise once a week. Another accessible technique is the single leg stance, which can be adapted for different ability levels. If you feel steady, stand next to a wall or chair, lift one foot slightly and try to balance for a few seconds. If you feel wobbly, use that support. This exercise can reveal a lot about your ankle stability. Initially, you might manage only a second or two, but don't be discouraged. Even that brief challenge begins to train your body. Over time, you can increase the duration. The sense of accomplishment that comes from adding just one more second each day is no small thing. It signifies real progress in your balance journey and can translate into greater comfort walking on uneven surfaces. It's important to approach these exercises with a sense of exploration rather than dread. Being active doesn't have to mean working out in the traditional sense. Think about the daily rituals you already have: washing dishes, folding laundry, gardening, or simply standing at the counter while waiting for the kettle to boil. Each moment is a chance to do a gentle ankle roll or a heel-to-toe rock. This approach not only respects your body's current condition, but also supports a calm, enjoyable routine. Emotionally, turning mundane tasks into micro-exercises can shift your mindset from one of passivity to one of empowerment. Rather than feeling trapped by fear or perceived physical limitations, you become an active participant in preserving and enhancing your mobility. Over time, those small wins accumulate and can significantly improve your day-to-day stability. If you're intrigued by these techniques but aren't sure how to start, you might consider joining a local senior fitness class focused on balance and flexibility. Many community centers offer programs that meet you where you are, with chairs available for support and instructors trained to handle common senior concerns. Alternatively, there are reputable online videos specifically for seniors that guide you step by step, often demonstrating seated and standing variations of each exercise. Feel free to take breaks, adapt each exercise to your comfort level, and pace yourself. Remember, it's not about racing toward a finish line. It's about consistent progress over time. Try to note one simple exercise you can incorporate this week. Maybe it's heel raises after breakfast or single leg stands before you watch your favorite show. Share this idea with someone who might join you. When you invite a friend or family member to do these exercises too, you add an element of accountability and shared motivation. Community can be a powerful ally in staying consistent, especially when it comes to senior health. An often overlooked factor in ankle health is footwear. You might think that as long as your shoes are comfortable, you're fine. But shoes that are too loose, too worn out, or lacking proper support can actually undermine your efforts to keep your ankles strong. Think of shoes as the foundation for the foundation, your ankles. And if that foundation is shaky, you'll be wobbly no matter how many exercises you do. Bill, age 74, noticed that despite doing regular ankle exercises, his balance wasn't improving as much as he'd hoped. A physical therapist asked about his footwear, which turned out to be a pair of old sneakers he'd been wearing for years. The soles had worn unevenly, causing Bill's feet to tilt slightly outward. That subtle tilt put extra strain on his ankles. After he replaced his shoes with a pair that offered better arch support and a snug fit around the heel, he found his stability improved significantly. Seniors often have foot changes over time, such as flattening arches or developing bunions, which can also affect how shoes fit. If you find yourself favoring one side of your shoe or noticing uneven wear patterns, it could be a sign that your alignment is off. This misalignment often transfers up to the ankles, knees, and hips. To address this, consider getting a professional shoe fitting at a store that specializes in active footwear. They can check your gait and suggest models that cater to your specific needs, whether that's extra cushioning, a wider toe box, or more arch support. You don't need to spend a fortune to get footwear that helps protect your ankles. Many brands offer reasonably priced options that are more than adequate for daily walking and light activity. The biggest factor is finding a shoe that fits well and supports your foot's natural shape. If you already wear specialized devices like orthotics, be sure they're still effective. Orthotics can wear out or lose shape, especially if you've had them for years. Another consideration is your at-home footwear habits. Walking around in socks on hardwood or tile floors might feel comfortable, but these surfaces can be slippery and increase the risk of falls. Even slippers can be risky if they don't have the right grip or support. A sturdy pair of indoor shoes, or at least socks with non-slip grips, can make a tangible difference in how stable you feel walking around the house. Addressing footwear goes beyond physical comfort. It provides emotional reassurance too. When you know your shoes are working with you, instead of against you, you feel more confident taking those steps out the door. That confidence can encourage you to stay active, visit neighbors, or attend social events, activities that, in turn, foster a positive outlook on aging. If you haven't checked your shoes in a while, take a few minutes to inspect the soles. Look for areas of uneven wear. Note if your arches feel supported. This simple shoe detective exercise can reveal some surprising clues about your ankle health. If you decide to upgrade your footwear, don't be afraid to walk around the store for a bit and really test them out before making a purchase. Consider it an investment in both your mobility and peace of mind. After all, while we often pay attention to how shoes look or how much they cost, the real question should be, are these shoes partnering with me in my goal to stay balanced and active? That shift in perspective can make all the difference in how you approach daily movement. You may wonder why there's so much emphasis on the mind-body connection when it comes to ankles. Doesn't physical strength just boil down to muscles and joints? Actually, maintaining balance involves more than just physical coordination. It's also deeply tied to your sense of self-confidence and autonomy. When your ankles feel weak, you might unconsciously change how you move, as we've discussed, but you might also change how you see yourself. You might see yourself as someone who's fragile or no longer able to do the things I once did. That mental shift can be more limiting than physical discomfort. Consider how Mary, age 80, found herself withdrawing from family gatherings after she had a few close calls, nearly losing her balance on a flight of stairs. While she hadn't experienced a major fall, the fear of what if became a barrier. Mary felt embarrassed to ask for help or to admit she was nervous walking in unfamiliar places. The result was social isolation, which then affected her mood and overall well-being. When she finally joined a senior balance class at her local community center, something surprising happened. She didn't just learn physical exercises. She also met others facing similar challenges. That group setting provided emotional support and boosted her confidence. Learning simple ankle-strengthening moves became a gateway to regaining her social life. This highlights a powerful truth. Addressing ankle weakness is about reclaiming control, not just over your physical balance, but also over your emotional and social life. Each time you make strides in strengthening those joints, you send yourself the message that you're capable of adapting, learning, and thriving. This self-reinforcing cycle, improve your ankle strength, build confidence, become more active, which further strengthens ankles, can significantly enhance your quality of life. However, it's natural to face occasional setbacks. Perhaps you try an exercise and feel some soreness, leading you to worry you're doing more harm than good. In those moments, it's important to remember that mild discomfort can be part of the process of rebuilding muscle strength. Of course, any intense or unusual pain calls for professional advice, but feeling your muscles working is different from an injury. If you're unsure, consult a doctor or a physical therapist to guide you. Being cautious is wise. Being paralyzed by fear deprives you of real progress. Another key element of the mind-body relationship is mindfulness. Simply paying closer attention to how your ankles feel can help you catch early signs of fatigue or imbalance. For instance, when you walk, notice if one foot drags more than the other, or if you rely more on one side. Practice mindful walking in a safe environment, like a hallway where you can hold on to a railing if needed. By mentally tuning into each step, you become more aware of subtle imbalances and can correct them before they escalate. Social support also plays a significant role. If you feel self-conscious about your ankles or worry friends might label you as frail, consider seeking out a support group or an online forum dedicated to senior fitness or balance. Hearing stories similar to your own can normalize the experience and remind you that you're not alone in this journey. Plus, exchanging tips and celebrating each other's small victories can be highly motivating. Reframing how you think about ankle weakness is perhaps the most profound step. Instead of viewing it as a deficit, see it as an opportunity to become more attuned to your body. Many older adults discover that once they begin focusing on ankle health, they become more conscious of other beneficial habits, like posture, breathing exercises, or light stretching for overall flexibility. These related improvements can create a ripple effect that extends well beyond your ankles, enriching your overall sense of well-being. Now, before we wrap up, take a moment to consider your mindset. Have you been telling yourself, it's too late for me? Or have you felt embarrassed about using a cane in public? Challenge these thoughts. Ask yourself if you're ready to view your ankles not as a lost cause, but as a work in progress. Often, acknowledging the power of your own mindset is the biggest clue of all. We've covered how easily ankle weakness can remain hidden behind compensations, misconceptions that discourage us from taking action, simple movements that can strengthen ankles, the importance of proper footwear, and the deep connection between the body and mind. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or excited, or both, that's perfectly normal. The good news is, small, consistent steps can yield meaningful changes in your day-to-day life. Instead of waiting for that big fall or letting anxiety dictate what you can and can't do, you have the chance to proactively fortify your foundation. It's crucial not to let this conversation become another fleeting thought in your day. Even if you've never considered your ankles before, or if you've long accepted them as an inevitable weakness, remember that your body is adaptable at any age. A little bit of dedication can result in a lot of improvement over time. You don't have to go from zero to dancing marathons overnight. Maybe you'll begin by doing some gentle heel-to-toe rocks during commercial breaks or swapping those worn-out shoes for a new supportive pair. Addressing ankle weakness now can help you maintain your freedom longer. Think about how many daily tasks require stable ankles. Everything from walking across the kitchen to playing with grandchildren or pets. By investing time into strengthening those joints, you could reclaim activities you once enjoyed, but set aside out of caution. Not only that, but you'll also reduce the stress and worry that can accompany each step in an unpredictable environment. Remember, this isn't about living recklessly. It's about living more fully, with less fear of sudden slips or falls. If you're feeling motivated, consider taking that first tangible action today. Maybe you'll test your single-leg stance near a wall to gauge your starting point, or schedule an appointment with a physical therapist who can create a personalized plan. If you're not quite ready for that, you might do a simple self-assessment of your current footwear. Whatever action you choose, making a commitment, even a small one, helps turn insight into real-world results. For those who are ready to dive deeper, you could join a local senior exercise class, research gentle balance programs online, or share this information with a friend to create an accountability partnership. By discussing your goals and progress with someone else, you reinforce your commitment and keep the momentum going. If you already belong to a community group or faith organization, consider introducing a short, ankle-focused warm-up before group activities. You might be surprised how many people share your concerns and will welcome the chance to work on stability together. What if you're still on the fence, unsure if addressing your ankles will truly make a difference? Sometimes the best way to overcome doubt is to test it. Commit to one small exercise like seated heel lifts every day for a week. Keep a quick journal of how your ankles feel before and after. You might be astonished by what you notice in such a short time frame. Even slight improvements can spark hope and build a sense of possibility. The next step is entirely up to you. However you decide to proceed, remember that every bit of awareness, every minute of exercise, and every thoughtful choice about footwear or posture adds up. This is about taking control of your mobility, your confidence, and the lifestyle you want for yourself. You've put in the time to learn. Now put that knowledge into action in a way that feels right for you. If you found these insights valuable, you can take multiple pathways. Share this information with a friend who might also benefit. Look up resources on senior-friendly balance exercises, or consult a professional to tailor a plan just for you. Each of these actions is a meaningful step toward a safer, more fulfilling life. And if you have the means to do more, great. But if you only do one thing, like dedicating just 5 minutes each day to ankle exercises, it still counts. Your ankles, your confidence, and your overall well-being will all thank you for it. Above all, know that it's never too late to make positive changes. You are an experienced individual who has navigated life's many challenges. Now, with a little detective work and consistent follow-through, you can continue doing the things you love with fewer worries about hidden balance issues. That sense of empowerment, knowing you have a say in how you age, may be the best reward of all. Here's to stronger ankles, greater stability, and the freedom to walk into every new day with confidence and ease.